11 News starts with breaking news.
Yes, breaking now, still no clear winner in the presidential election, but the race is narrowing in Pennsylvania. We have been watching President Donald Trump's lead drop, Joe Biden closing the gap a little.
And there are a lot of things in motion right now on the lawsuits that the president's team, I should say, filed to stop vote counts. Channel 11 news anchor Jennifer Tomasic is at the breaking news desk to sort things out for us. Jen?
Yeah, you know, the courts are really coming into play at noon today. So people are gathering in Philadelphia outside of a convention center. We'll show you that live here in just a second. That's where votes are being counted. Here's where the courts come into play. A Pennsylvania appeals court just granted President Trump's campaign observers more access to election workers in Philadelphia. Now, as far as our state goes, there are still 600,000 or so votes that need to be counted. Also in the last half hour, President Trump's team has filed a lawsuit in Nevada asking a judge to stop the counting of improper votes. Also, Georgia breaking news this afternoon at noon. A judge has dismissed a lawsuit by the state Republican Party and President Trump's campaign that asked him to ensure a coastal county was following state laws on processing absentee ballots. So I'll take you live out to Philadelphia. You can see there is a group that has gathered outside of the convention center. That's where votes are being counted right now in Philadelphia. There are some suburbs in the area where they are done counting, but the other places they are not done. So let's go to our next thing here this afternoon at noon, and we're going to take a look and see where we are as far as the race goes for president in Pennsylvania. You can see that right now President Trump has 50% of the vote in Pennsylvania. Joe Biden has 48% of the vote. So that margin has narrowed. This morning it was about 3 points, and now we are seeing President Trump up just by 2 percentage points in Pennsylvania. And here's a look right now at where the Electoral College stands and those votes. So, 270 is that number that we're trying to hit. This is from NBC News, who has not called Arizona in anyone's favor just yet. So you can see 253 for Biden and 214 for President Trump. But I can tell you that the leads are narrowing. So in Georgia, President Trump's lead is narrowing and Biden's lead is narrowing in Arizona this afternoon. Now, I want to mention the Biden campaign. On a call with reporters this morning, his campaign manager also mentioned that the charges that the illegal challenges by President Trump's campaign to halt voting in some of these states that are still counting, also that recount in Wisconsin. The Biden campaign manager said this was a flailing strategy that was an attempt to distract and delay from the results of the election. So we are also expecting, I want to mention here at noon, some information coming out of Nevada as well. Their elections division said at noon they would be posting some more results. So I'm going to go back and check and see if I can find anything new on that, guys.
A lot to track. Thank you, Jennifer. Now, more on the president's lawsuit against Pennsylvania. It is one of the states where the president is trying to stop ballot counting. As we mentioned, the governor is set to give us an update in a few minutes. Channel 11's Melanie Gillespie is in Harrisburg with reaction from the Secretary of State.
The battleground state of Pennsylvania could soon be battling it out in court. The Trump administration filed a lawsuit yesterday against Pennsylvania and the Secretary of State, claiming the election here is not being transparent. Now, that lawsuit also focuses on that 3-day extension of counting mail-in ballots received up to 3 days beyond the election. 20 electoral votes are up for grabs in the Keystone State as Trump's opponent, Joe Biden, is narrowing his lead to 270. Pennsylvania has proven to be a critical state in this election. Trump is demanding the issue go beyond the state and is requesting the high court to get involved. The Trump campaign says allowing those votes to be counted after Election Day is untimely and unlawful. Meantime, the state has said they intend to count each and every vote, and the Secretary of State refutes the president's claims. Here's what she had to say.
It has never been so transparent, ever. You've got counties live streaming, you've got party and candidate representatives watching every step of that process. It's just not happening. There's no evidence of anything like what was alleged.
And those ballots received after Election Day have been kept separate. They've been segregated in case there was some kind of legal motion filed like this one. Reporting from Harrisburg, I'm Melanie Gillespie for Channel 11 News.
All right, thank you, Melanie. Allegheny County's election warehouse on the north side is closed today. The counting process there is nearing an end. They're taking a break, but the work there far from over. Channel 11's Alyssa Raymond has a look at the work that is yet to be done.
And just to be crystal clear, it's not like there's a bunch of ballots just sitting in this building and they're just choosing not to count them. The ones that are left to be scanned in still need to have some special attention to them, and those are the ones that they're going to be focusing on tomorrow. So last night they finished up shortly before 11 o'clock. They got through scanning all of the ballots that they wanted to get through. Here's where we stand at this point. In Allegheny County, Joe Biden is in the lead by about 19 points. That's slightly better than Hillary did in 2016. Around 313,000 mail-in ballots have been counted. Another 35,000 still need to be manually examined. That includes the 29,000 incorrect ballots that went out in Allegheny County that were then corrected. And then the rest have other issues. Think things like incomplete ballots or ones that got damaged in the mail.
We have resolution bins for the ones that the declaration was incomplete or didn't have a date, didn't have a signature. So those are not part of the count. Those have been set aside. There'll be a determination by elections management staff in consultation with the law department on whether those eventually do get counted. There'll be ones that clearly won't, and there'll be ones that will.
So what's next? The County Return Board is going to examine all of those ballots starting tomorrow morning at 9. All kinds of eyes are going to be on this process. We're expecting representatives from both campaigns to be there. Also remember this too, any ballots that they receive in the mail, they still have to count as long as they get them in by 5 p.m. tomorrow. Reporting on the north side, Alyssa Raymond, Channel 11 News.
And commissioners in Butler County say they'll collect the ballots they received yesterday, today, and tomorrow, but they won't immediately count them. They say that is, as she mentioned, because the president is threatening legal action, questioning the legality of expanding the mailing deadline. Commissioners in Butler County explain what they will be doing.
We're living in a fluid environment here, and we're trying to be responsible. And what we'll do is we'll wait for DOS, Department of State guidance.
The Attorney General told us he fully expects Butler County will comply with Pennsylvania law. County officials say, just to be on the safe side, they will sequester those ballots.
Pittsburgh police arrested 3 people during protests last night. Police say a small group broke off from a larger group and started overturning garbage cans and knocking over traffic signs. Here's video as protesters marched through downtown. They held signs demanding that all the votes be counted. The rally was made up of students, community members, and activists. A second group dressed in black set an American flag on fire, and we saw one person in handcuffs and graffiti spray painted on the city-county building.
President Trump won Ohio, but people there still took to the streets to demand every vote be counted in states that haven't finished up yet. This was the scene in Columbus as about 150 people marched downtown. There were no reports of any violence or destruction. It was a similar scene in Philadelphia. Dozens of people marched in the streets last night holding up a banner that said "Count every vote." But things got a little more tense in New York City. Police there arrested multiple people last night after officers clashed with demonstrators. There were no reports of any property damage. We have an entire section dedicated to the election on WPXI.com. Just click on the Decision 2020 banner on the front page.
And we have new information about the victim of a deadly shooting in Highland Park. Police say Levante Howard was shot in a car on Jackson Street last night, and he died a short time later. Another car was also found riddled with bullets. A man is in critical condition as police look for a hit-and-run driver. The man was hit along Lincoln Avenue in Homewood. He has serious injuries to his torso and leg. We're checking with police to see if they have any description of that car.
Breaking now, another high coronavirus case count in Allegheny County. The health department says it's learned of 189 new cases since yesterday. The youngest patient just 3 weeks old. We are waiting on state numbers. Yesterday, the state broke another record for one-day totals. And yesterday, we broke another nationwide record of COVID cases. There were more than 100,000 new cases reported across the country. The previous record was just set last Friday. This is the 6th time a new daily case record has been set since October 22nd.
Nearly a dozen more Port Authority workers have tested positive for the virus. The authority says there have been 9 more cases since its last update on September 30th. 61 total workers have been infected. The Port Authority wants to remind all riders face coverings are required at all stops and when boarding and riding inside the vehicles. Peters Township Middle School and Middle Elementary are closing through Monday because of COVID cases. All students in grades 4 through 12 will learn from home. The district says there are also 4 positive cases at the high school. And the Diocese of Pittsburgh says the Sacred Heart Elementary School volleyball team will learn online for the next 2 weeks because of a COVID case. The diocese says it's from someone associated with the team.
We're learning how high school sports will look this winter. Boys and girls basketball, wrestling, rifle, gymnastics, and swimming are all set to start soon. Channel 11's Jillian Hartman has the plan for the winter sports season.
Well, the Whitfield voted to move forward with winter sports, so kids who do gymnastics, wrestling, swimming, or play basketball, their season will start on time in about 2 weeks.
I think it's a good thing for us.
Mark your calendars because winter sports are officially set to begin November 20th. This afternoon, Whitfield board members voted not to delay the season.
I think it's important because, anything can happen. I mean, nobody can have a COVID situation. I think we need to start on time, and just in case something does happen to happen, so we have a little bit more time to prepare for that.
We caught up with the Mars Athletic Director, Scott Heinauer. He's also a Whitfield board member. He shared what was discussed in the closed meetings. A questionnaire was sent out to all school districts in the Whitfield, and he tells me 87% said they were ready to go on time.
We can then make up days, and we'll be able to make up games, and obviously section games are the most important.
He said 63% of schools wanted to limit competition, but the board voted against that so teams can play a regular schedule. He couldn't go into exact detail on what basketball games, gymnastics, swimming, or wrestling will look like.
I think everybody in every school is already used to this situation. We're going to follow the COVID procedures as every school has.
The decision to have winter games and fans in attendance will still be left up to each school district.
Jillian Hartman, Channel 11 News.
You have to think that the virus may be with you.
Coronavirus cases on the rise with just 3 weeks until Thanksgiving. We're finding out how the surge could impact your holidays.
And as the votes are being counted in Pennsylvania and several other states, the president continues to push to stop the count. The breaking details just ahead.
We have beautiful conditions outside and also above average temperatures. I'm taking a closer look at those temperatures coming up in about 5 minutes.
Plus, how COVID could soon affect where you can get a cup of coffee. Philadelphia police have released the body cam video and 911 audio of the deadly police shooting of Walter Wallace Jr.
Put the knife down now! Put the knife down now!
Police responded to a call last month and found Wallace holding a knife. As you heard in the video, officers told Wallace to drop the knife more than once. Later on the body cam video, you can also hear one of the officers say this.
Shoot him.
He said shoot him. It was quick, but the officer did say that. Wallace did not drop the knife. He walked toward the officers, and that's when he was shot. City leaders called for calm as officials work to determine whether those officers will be charged.
If you believe the life of Walter Wallace matters, then it matters that his family is asking you to honor him, not to disgrace his memory by tearing up the city.
The two police officers identified in the shooting are 26-year-old Thomas Munz and 25-year-old Sean Matazzaro. The shooting remains under investigation.
Pittsburgh voters overwhelmingly voted to expand the powers of the Pittsburgh Citizen Police Review Board. More than 76% of voters supported the ballot question. The referendum allows the group to perform audits of the city's police bureau, and police officers would be required to take part in the investigations. A family was forced out of their home by a fire. That fire broke out Tuesday night on Cram-Lington Drive in Hampton Township. Chopper 11 was overhead as smoke billowed out of the home. According to Northampton, the volunteer fire department there, part of the home collapsed. Fortunately, everyone made it out of the house safely.
Local leaders are urging you to limit gatherings with others as coronavirus cases rise. But with Thanksgiving just 3 weeks away, what does that mean for your holiday? Our Michelle Newell spoke to a local doctor to find out.
You may be the person who has it and doesn't know it, because 40% of the people don't know they have it because they have no symptoms.
A stern reminder from the Allegheny County Health Director today about how easy it is to spread COVID-19.
I could give you 1,000 stories about people who've hosted events and the next day they get symptoms, and they've now exposed people at their events.
Pennsylvania overall reported the highest number of new cases this week. Dr. Deborah Bogan is urging people to consider reducing the size and frequency of personal gatherings, which she says by far is the largest source of cases in our county. A very important reminder as Thanksgiving is a little more than a couple of weeks away.
I think this is going to be a challenge, and I think many people are going to make mistakes because it's sort of goes with the event that people are going to let their guards down.
But infectious disease doctor Amisha Dolja says there are a number of ways you can avoid making mistakes while still safely enjoying the holidays.
Try and determine who you're inviting, if they've got risk factors for COVID, if they've been somewhere, if they're not people that you've already mixed with, and really think about, can you modify Thanksgiving in a way that makes it safer?
And when it comes to travel, Dr. Adalja says it's best not to invite people from states that have high COVID-19 cases.
When you bring people from another part of the state, another part of the country, and that you haven't mixed with, that's where the risk actually exists.
I'm Michelle Newell for Channel 11 News.
Starbucks is closing another 100 stores in the U.S. in the next year. It says fewer people are going to work in cities because of the pandemic, so it plans to set up more stores in the suburbs. Starbucks has become more focused on drive-thrus and carry-out, with fewer customers lingering inside because of social distancing. The store closings are on top of 400 it already announced.
And a pet store with several locations in the Pittsburgh area is shutting down. Pet Value has more than 300 stores and warehouses across the country. The Pennsylvania-based company plans to wind down its U.S. operations due to severe impact from COVID-19. Store closing sales got underway today.
Your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
It's that time of year where you may need your heat on and your coat in the morning hours, and then by the afternoon, as soon as we hit the afternoon hours, it's lunchtime right now. May not need the jacket depending on your comfort level, and temperatures will continue to rise as we go further into the afternoon hours, but pretty comfortable and mild out there right now. We have 65 in Pittsburgh, 64 in Greensburg, 69 in Beaver. Peak of the daytime heating, we will be pushing near 70 60 degrees. We are projected to be around 69 for Pittsburgh, 66 for Butler, 68 for Uniontown. Maybe you want to get outside, maybe get some things done and enjoy the nice conditions, nice warm and dry conditions. Could be on the breezier side for today. Maybe Friday and going into this weekend will be your better bet, but today not bad at all. Or you may want to fire up your fire pit. Temperatures will be dropping this evening, but overall we keep conditions nice and comfortable for the evening hours. During the day, mix of sun and clouds. Some could be seeing more sun than clouds. Overall pretty nice after sunset, getting into the lower 60s and then back into the 50s, 59 degrees by 7 o'clock. Throughout the overnight, dropping into the 40s, 45 degrees for the overnight low, clearing out any remaining clouds in the sky, allowing for plentiful sunshine for your Friday. And temperatures will continue to be on the warm side, even warmer as we head into this weekend. So keeping the upper 60s, which is well above average for this time of year. We should be peaking somewhere in the mid 50s. So again, well above average, especially this weekend, getting into the 70s. We will continue to warm those temperatures even as we head into the beginning of the next work week. Here's your 5-day forecast. Partly cloudy today, still very nice, still plentiful sunshine. Abundant sunshine comes at the end of the week for your Friday, especially this weekend. Sunny, mostly sunny for Saturday and Sunday. Weekend always in view, warming up in the lower 70s. And then as we start the new work week on Monday, mix of sun and clouds once again, keeping it in the 70s at 73 degrees.
I'm Jennifer Tomazik on the breaking news desk this afternoon. Want to let you know that right now mail-in ballot counting has stopped in Philadelphia. This is according to NBC 10 out of Philadelphia. Just looking at their website right now, say that they stopped the mail-in ballot counting just before noon today to address that court ruling that I told you about here at the top of the show. That court ruling was a state court judge that ordered observers for the Trump campaign to be allowed greater access to those folks in Philadelphia who were counting the ballots. Now they've stopped counting the ballots, according to NBC 10 in Philadelphia, as two Democratic officials told NBC News it's happening right now to address that court ruling. So I'll keep my eye on this, let you know what's going on. But again, mail-in ballots halted in the counting in Philadelphia right now. Gordon?
All right, thanks, Jennifer. Researchers say they may have a coronavirus vaccine ready by Christmas. What they say needs to happen first.
I'm worried that my ballot's not going to count.
What happened at the polling place that has this local man worried about his vote? Anxiety is growing among people who had to vote with a provisional ballot. We've gotten calls from people across our area, both Republicans and Democrats, who say they ran into issues. Some people, like Mark Adams, said he was told somebody already requested a mail-in ballot in his name, but he insists it wasn't him.
I'm not sure if it's going to knock my vote out or if my vote's going to get counted or if they're going to count both votes or no votes.
Voted provisionally, you can track your ballot to see if it is accepted or rejected. More than likely, you won't be able to find out, though, until Friday at the earliest.
People in several states voted to legalize marijuana on Election Day, including New Jersey. That vote is one of the reasons Governor Tom Wolf has been pushing to legalize marijuana here. He says it will take revenue away from the state. Under the New Jersey ballot measure, marijuana will be legal for personal recreational use by adults 21 and older. Medical marijuana was already legal in the Garden State. Voters in Arizona and South Dakota also voted to legalize recreational marijuana. And Oregon became the first state to legalize magic mushrooms for mental health therapy. The measure approved by voters allows the state to license, supervise, and deliver the drug. It could be useful for people dealing with severe depression, addiction, anxiety, and psychological distress. You cannot take the drug at home. It must be administered in a controlled, regulated service center.
The United States of Anxiety. How to cope with the stress of an election without a decision.
Plus, a dramatic change in an important race, the candidate declaring victory in an uncalled race, and what his challenger is now saying about it.
Jennifer Tomazik on the breaking news desk. Mail-in ballot counting has stopped right now in Philadelphia, and this has happened. We learned about this just within the last half an hour or so. So they stopped counting to address a court ruling from earlier this morning. That's what the NBC station in Philadelphia is reporting right now, and that court ruling said that observers from President Trump's campaign could have greater access to the votes that were being tallied in Philadelphia. But again, we have learned from our NBC station in Philadelphia that that has stopped right now. So try to get you an update on that. I'll keep my eye on it. Also, I wanted to let you know about Nevada. Just found out from the NBC station out there that the new votes did come in as we thought that they would around noon, and it shows that Joe Biden has widened his lead over President Trump in Nevada. So we'll get you some more updates as soon as they come in, Peggy.
All right, thank you so much, Jennifer. Is the race for the 17th House District over? Well, that all depends on whom you ask. Challenger Sean Parnell hasn't said anything about the outcome, but last night, Congressman Connor Lamb, declared himself the winner.
And late this morning, Parnell did release a statement saying, quote, "Last night, despite previously calling for every vote to be counted, Connor Lamb claimed victory practically the minute he took a slim lead in this race. Unless Lamb has a sixth sense that helps him precisely determine vote totals from outstanding precincts in this razor's edge race, he should exercise the restraint that he was calling for while significantly being behind." Lamb admitted last night Parnell has not conceded at this point. He has not heard from him. The numbers are very tight, but Lamb says he has full faith in the process.
I've been through a close election once before, as you guys know, so of course there are nerves. I'd be lying if I said there weren't, but I'm lucky to have a great team, and we executed our plan.
Lamb expects the ballot totals will increase, he believes, in the hours and days ahead as mail-in ballots continue to be tallied.
Beaver County, which got a lot of attention leading up to the election, is finished counting votes. President Trump carried that county. He ended up with more than 53,000 to Joe Biden's 37,000. Biden got more votes by mail-in ballots. Commissioner Dan Camp says he wanted to assure everyone their votes were counted.
We had department heads, elected officials, myself, my colleagues, staff. We pulled through because we wanted to make sure that these were counted by our employees, and we did it today.
It was a record turnout in Beaver County with more than 80%.
Here's how the race for the White House breaks down in Westmoreland County. According to the county's elections website, President Trump is leading the county with nearly 64% of the vote, Joe Biden with about 35%. 199,000 votes were cast. About 56,000 of those were mail-ins. As workers were wrapping up their counting last night, there was a peaceful demonstration outside the courthouse. It was organized by a group called Voice of Westmoreland, who said they were there to celebrate democracy. Officials say they've remained dedicated to counting every legitimate vote, and the counting is not finished. There are still some ballots that were dropped off at the courthouse on Election Day and thousands of provisional ballots. Election officials say they will start counting those tomorrow.
This election saw historic voter turnout, and a large part of that came from minority communities. The Latino population is a group that can affect voting results in Pennsylvania.
There's 1 million Latinos in PA alone, and Latinx folks, and the 2016 margin of victory was 44,000 votes.
And as fast as they stopped counting the votes in Philadelphia, we are just told they started back up again.
Pittsburgh Public Schools closed its grab-and-go location at Pittsburgh Westinghouse after a worker tested positive for COVID. It will stay closed for the rest of the week. So if you usually go there, for now, go to Pittsburgh Faison or the Student Achievement Center. Those COVID restaurant inspections are still underway. In the last week, the Bureau of Food Safety performed 697 inspections across the state. 29 inspections were because of complaints. 8 formal warning letters were issued. 2 citations were filed. Restaurants that don't comply with COVID guidelines get a warning letter and then will be cited between $25 and $300.
And now to the race for a COVID-19 vaccine. Researchers now say they could possibly roll out a successful vaccine before the end of the year. Channel 11's Blair Miller reports.
COVID-19 has killed more than 1.2 million people worldwide, and the outbreak was front and center during the presidential campaign. Now a sign of hope from the University of Oxford. Researchers there working to have results from late-stage vaccine trials later this year. The chief of the Oxford vaccine says he's optimistic the vaccine could be ready before Christmas. Andrew Pollard updated UK lawmakers on the vaccine's progress at a hearing today. Pollard stressed the data must be reviewed by regulators before the vaccine can be distributed. The University of Oxford teamed up with AstraZeneca to develop a vaccine based on a virus that causes infections in chimpanzees. AstraZeneca says the vaccine is showing promise with older patients who tend to have more serious symptoms from COVID-19. Other companies from around the world, including Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, are working to develop a vaccine right now. I'm Blair Miller.
Well, another above-average day when it comes to the forecast.
And we'll take it. Meteorologist Jessica Faith is tracking sunshine and warmer temperatures in Severe Weather Center 11.
Yeah, and that pretty much sums up the forecast for the next few days, and that includes this weekend, so feel free to get outside. But coming up in about 15 minutes, I do have an air quality alert to tell you about, so stick around for that. But just like they mentioned, plenty of sunshine. We are staying dry, and we're looking on the warm side. It doesn't really feel like we're in the middle of fall, more like the early fall days, almost kind of starting at like the end of summer, like here in the area. Those temperatures on the warmer side, and temperatures will be near 70, guys.
Jennifer Tomazik on the breaking news desk. Want to let you know right now we're getting an update from Allegheny County about elections. Let's listen in.
Although I guess only 36 hours of work in a 40-hour work isn't necessarily around the clock. They did take 4 hours to sleep a little bit. But that's literally what they've been doing for the last number of weeks as we have processed the over 300,000 ballots that were cast and returned properly. And then they also had to look at the ones that had other issues that may not ever be counted. As of today, as of last night actually, in Allegheny County, 675,928 votes had been recorded and put on the state website. In the mail processing of that were 313,072 that were done as of last night. At this point, there are approximately 35,000 mail ballots that are to be looked at. In that 35,000 ballots to be looked at, 29,000 ballots have been ordered by federal court to not be handled or processed until 5 o'clock on Friday. So at 5 o'clock tomorrow, they will begin going through that process. We also have another 6,800 that have, I'll call them other issues. They got damaged in the mail. They got damaged or cut during the cutting of the machine process. Maybe there wasn't a secrecy envelope, dated issues, et cetera, et cetera. Those are going to be looked at starting tomorrow at 9 o'clock, again, by state order. We have to swear in a return board tomorrow morning. Those individuals will be sworn in by the Board of Elections, of which I am the chair, along with Councilman DeMarco and Councilwoman Hallam. We will be swearing in the workers, of which there are dozens. I can't give you an exact number, but it's dozens and dozens of our election workers that will be sworn in tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And again, that is by state law. All 67 counties are not permitted to swear in their election board members until 3 days after the election. So first thing tomorrow morning, the election board will be sworn in to look at those 6,800 ballots. They will be viewed by the public, by the poll watchers, by all parties who will be there to look at those ballots as the return board begins to process those ballots. So that is where we are right now. We want to make sure that every vote is counted. Oh, let me give you one other group of votes, two other groups of votes. They have not begun to organize the postmarked before Election Day ballots. I think yesterday there were maybe 500 or so that came in the mail. I don't know that they've looked at the mail today to see how many have come in today. There are also provisional ballots that people were casting at the 1,323 polling places as they voted on Election Day. These would have been ballots that would be somebody who applied in the mail and maybe didn't get their mail ballot, or for whatever reason showed up and voted provisional. In the spring primary, we had about 5,000 provisional ballots that were cast. I estimate there could easily be double that or more, so you could have between 10 and 15,000, but we just don't know. They'll start opening those boxes, the 1,323 boxes that the judges of elections brought back to the warehouse. Today, what our workers are doing is they're preparing for tomorrow, organizing the tables, moving things around, bringing things from the warehouse over to the county office building where this process will begin to take place. So they're organizing, they're working. There's no day off for the workers in the election board. In fact, Dave Voy, the director, I actually dragged him over here today. He's probably got to get back over there and get back to work. Dave has done a great job. But also our county solicitor, who you've probably been dealing with as well, was over at the warehouse. Amy Downs, our communication director, and all members of the county election department and staff have been working on this and will continue to work on it. With that, let me open it up to any questions you might have. That's what they opened up in the mail yesterday, yes. They will probably be set aside, and then they'll start to open those up and process those. I don't have an answer for you on that. No, they're going to, all 3 days that they're allowed to keep those, there will be ballots that come in today, and then ballots that come in tomorrow. They'll take, and Friday, they'll take that grouping and set those aside. I can't answer when they'll be processed. Yes, that is correct. Correct.
How many of those would actually be the original incorrect ballot that was mistakenly returned, or those are all
There's no way of knowing that. My guess is it's not a very high percentage. I'm guessing most of those would be counted, but I can't say that until the return board starts to go through them ballot by ballot. I assume that would be correct, yes. The state law requires that 3 days after the election, not beforehand, that the boards of elections in all 67 counties have a 3-member board of elections. They will all be swearing in their return boards tomorrow at some point. We're doing it at 9 o'clock, and then they'll begin that process. That's a very public process in which the poll workers from all parties can view how the ballots are opened, how the ballots are viewed, et cetera, et cetera. Yes. That will be happening over at the county office building. Oh, it is at the warehouse. I'm sorry, am I correct? The warehouse. I guess it's too big. We normally do it there, but maybe because of the volume, we're doing it at the warehouse. Let me ask the solicitor to answer that question.
Yeah, my name is Andy Zeffi, County Solicitor. Mr. Sheehan, you're talking about within the 29,000 category?
Any category.
Any category? So they go through the review process under, Act 77, the mail-in. Those are done. Ultimately, we've had the manager of elections look at every one of them. We probably will elevate them to the actual, in the election board process, but it's still, Dave's final call in terms of what the sufficiency of the envelope is. Was it naked? Was it not signed? The categories that might disqualify a ballot.
No, it's because there may be disputes, there may be time that goes through it, and they'll do it as expeditiously as they can. What I will say is Allegheny County probably processed them faster than just about anybody. I'm proud of the fact that they did. Certainly in the spring we did, and even during the other night doing the 300,000.
You're listening live to Allegheny County Executive Rich Fitzgerald, who's giving us an update on where the ballot counting stands in Allegheny County, telling us today they are prepping for tomorrow because tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. they will swear in the return board, and then it's the return board's responsibility to take a look at ballots that might be damaged or cut. Maybe they don't have envelopes. Maybe there are issues with the dates. They will be the ones who will look at all of that and decide what happens moving forward. They say there's about 68,000 of those, and they say this is going to be a very public process. They will allow folks to come in and observe this from both campaigns and from both parties as well. So we will certainly keep you updated, but that's where we are in Allegheny County this afternoon, Peggy.
All right, progress, be it slow. Well, no doubt the busy travel season will be a lot different this year. What to expect if you plan to fly home for the holidays. Well, the holiday season is typically, this is no typical year though, one of the biggest travel times of the year. With the pandemic, flying is going to look a little different this year.
Mandy Geithner has more on what to expect if you're heading home for the holidays.
It's an industry still reeling from the pandemic.
It has been devastating.
But this holiday season, airlines are hoping more travelers take to the skies.
U.S. airlines, since the onset of this pandemic, have absolutely prioritized the safety and health of all passengers and their crew members. They're leaning into science to make decisions.
The industry group Airlines for America hoping to ease travelers' minds when it comes to safety. In addition to rigorous cleaning of aircraft, the organization says during check-in, passengers can expect to be asked simple health questions like, have you been exposed to COVID-19? And they recommend you get to the airport early.
You may think not as many people are traveling. I can get to the airport at the last minute. And I would caution you the other way. Go ahead and allow extra time.
And plan ahead, especially when it comes to food.
Not all vendors are open at all of the airports. So you may want to grab a snack and an empty water bottle, and then you can fill up the water bottle on the other side of TSA.
Still getting a seat without a neighbor is getting harder, and prepare for more crowded planes. Southwest Airlines, which has held middle seats open during the pandemic, recently announced that it would make all seats available for flights beginning in December.
Don't forget your mask. While the pandemic has devastated the movie business, video games, they're booming. Worldwide video gaming revenue is estimated to jump 20% this year. Popular titles such as Animal Crossing: New Horizons and Super Mario 3D All-Stars have led the way. Starbucks collectible holiday cups arrive in stores tomorrow. The coffee chain is giving the red holiday cup to customers who order a handcrafted holiday beverage. The limited edition cup is available for orders picked up in stores or through delivery while supplies last. Many people get sticker shock when they get a medical bill in the mail. It is the only bill you get without knowing how much you owe up front. Our consumer advisor Clark Howard explains what you can do to fight back.
Imagine you go to order something online and you put in your credit card and you get the item and then they tell you what it's going to cost and you have to pay for it. That's the way medicine works. It's the only business in the United States where you don't know what it's going to cost you till after you've gotten the service. That is lunacy. And I want you to know that that bill you get is not the last word. When you get a UFO bill from a doctor or a hospital or whatever, that is only a point where you know to negotiate. This is even for people with insurance. Many times you'll get a crazy UFO bill. You don't just pay it. You ask questions. And let me tell you, if you end up with a hospital stay, almost always you're being charged for things you shouldn't be. You can even hire a consultant who you pay to help you with the bill with a hospital bill. So anytime you get that bill, you don't like it, you fight back because it's your money. I'm Clark Howard.
Your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
Conditions are looking beautiful outside this midday. Here's a sneak peek right now viewing from our tower cam. Here's Pittsburgh. You see the sunshine coming in and that warm temperature already above the norm there, 65 degrees. For this time of year, our highs should be peaking in the mid to upper 50s, around 56 degrees. Well above that peak of the daytime heating, we will be pushing near 70 degrees. And the nice conditions may make you want to head outside. Keep in mind the air quality could be sensitive, could be unhealthy rather, to those sensitive groups, including young children and the elderly. So just keep that in mind as you head out and about tonight. Dropping temperatures back into the 40s. So cool night tonight, which will make for a cool morning tomorrow. Then temperatures will rise. And we're going to continue on with the dry and warm conditions thanks to high pressure holding on tight as we go throughout the rest of this week. So you may want to get some things done, like maybe wash your car. You are good to go for the rest of this week into the next. Here's your 5-day forecast showing plentiful sunshine, especially as we close out this work week and head into the weekend. Weekend always in view. We are in the 70s. We keep it in the 70s on Monday, 73 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds.
Allegheny County. Next, the special thank you from the Steelers. An election win that could impact ride-sharing drivers here in Pittsburgh. Voters in California passed a referendum exempting companies like Uber and Lyft from treating drivers as employees. Right now, they're considered independent contractors. Employee status means companies would provide overtime, sick leave, and expense reimbursement.
The Steelers thanked election poll workers for their hard work with a special delivery. The team ordered dinner for the people, counting the absentee and mail-in ballots at the Allegheny County Elections Warehouse, and it was a feast. Chicken, rigatoni, vegetables, rolls, and pie. So if the election has you stressed out, you certainly are not alone. People throughout the country are looking for ways to relieve their anxiety. Doctors say you can relax by watching videos online, like how about the Panda Cam? Or download an app that can guide you through exercises and meditation.
The best way to cope with uncertainty is first acknowledging it and accepting it. And then second, to distract yourself with things that bring you joy and make you feel calm.
And another way to de-stress is going to hashtag dogs at polling places. Look how cute they are. The focus is on the pictures, not the political commentary.
I tried. It didn't work for me. All right, here's a big update now. The race tightening in Pennsylvania. We just got word that Joe Biden is now just 1 point behind President Trump in the ballot counting in Pennsylvania.
All right, and of course, we'll continue to follow the count. That's all for Channel 11 News at noon. Our next newscast is tonight at 5. Have a wonderful day.